The people made a living from the Jews. They all worked for us because they're all in business, the Jewish people. So now we just have to hope that things will get better.
The non-resisting in both your parents and Max's parents both are, look, we got to just do what we're told right now.
We have no choice.
And the reason is because otherwise it's almost like an immediate execution.
Right. It's so hard to believe what we went through. It's really hard for anybody to believe what we went through, but it's so horrible what happened.
Going back to one of your parts in the book. In 1941, I'm nearly 11 years old, and there's another new rule. We must wear a gold Star of David on our sleeve so everyone will know we are Jewish. I don't understand why only Jewish people have to wear an identifying patch and follow special rules. A few months later, another change comes into our family. On Sunday, the men and boys that are old enough are rounded up by soldiers and loaded onto trucks. That includes Tata and Fischl. They are driven out of town, and as I watch the truck pull out of sight, I wonder where they are taking them. A few days later, when the men haven't returned, I hear women in the village questioning aloud to one another if the men are ever coming back. Tata will find a way to come home to us, I know. When the men finally arrive home on a Friday night, Tata and Fischl look exhausted as they descend from the truck. Tata's face has deep grooves in it that are dark brown with dirt. Fischl's clothes, which used to be blue and gray, are now a muddy brown. Flakes of caked on mud shed off his clothes as he makes his way over to us. When they approach, they say nothing, only nod at us tiredly. Tata smiles at me when I wave and takes my hand in his as we walk toward the house. Later that night, after Tata and Fischl wash up, we are all sitting around the Shabbat dinner table. Tata tells Mama that they are being forced to work for the Germans. It is hard labor, and the men feel like slaves as they are never paid for their work. They are given very little food and very little water. When Mama asks what they are doing for the Germans, Tata says they pave roads, cut wood for bridges, lay foundations, dig ditches, and sometimes they work in factories. No matter what they are doing, they work hard, long hours. The guards watch them closely throughout the day and threaten anyone who isn't working hard enough. Tata says he and Fischl keep their heads down and work steadily so they can come home to us on Friday nights.
Yeah. You can't even explain how horrible this was. Unbelievable.
One night when Tata and Fischl are sitting quietly by the stove, I ask Tata why no one does anything about this situation. Tata sighs and says, Rosie, we have to be patient and follow the rules since we are not in charge. Of course, we would like to be paid, but we can't force them to pay us. God will reward us for being kind to the Hungarians. People whisper all around me that Jews are to turn in their radios. We are no longer allowed access to public information or news program. I hear whispers among the adults about what could be happening in other places. Many people look grim and shake their heads as they head home to inform their families. I run nearly all the way home to tell Mama. I learn later that only one Jewish family keeps a radio in the cellar of their home, defying their rule. This is a huge risk because if the Hungarians find out, they will kill all the people in that house.
You're right. Absolutely.
Now I'm going to fast forward. You guys live under these conditions. I mean, just brutal conditions. And then we get in the spring of 1944. I'm nearly 14 years old and living under the fascist rule of the Hungarians. My village is different, locked down and under their rule. Jews are prisoners in our village, forced to stay put and avoid being seen or noticed. Non-Jews run the town, having taken over all the shops. Mama looks tired and Tata is gone most of the time. I miss him so much, especially because he always helped me understand the world. Right now, the world doesn't make any sense to me. I miss my old life, even school. One morning, a month before Passover, as I am playing with my sisters in the lane, I hear loud noises coming from down the road. As we watch, Soldiers in dark green uniforms and black helmets march into town. They wear tall black boots, thick leather belts with shiny buckles, and a large red armband with a spider on it. I am unsure who these soldiers are. I have never seen uniforms like these before. I am worried. This time, I do not wave to the soldiers. They make me feel worried. Germans, I hear several women whisper. I study the outfits of the German soldiers and wonder how these women know them to be German. How have they come to take over our country? Those are SS, one announces. What's the SS? Another asks. The Secret Service. I heard they are the most brutal of the German Nazi forces. It's interesting that even you as a young girl, when you saw the Hungarian soldiers, you were a little concerned. But when you see the Nazis, your instinct is know that they're evil.
It's completely different. Absolutely. Because my mother and father actually were born in Hungary. So we didn't think it was so awful because they were born in Hungary and nothing would happen. But of course, everything did. We never thought anything so horrible was ahead of us, what happened to us.
You go on here. One day as we are all chopping vegetables in the kitchen, Mama interrupts the conversation with a very serious look on her face. Girls, I know that things are confusing. You need to continue to act as if nothing is wrong. Acting strangely can get us into trouble. If you mind your own business and act natural, the soldiers will ignore you and leave you alone. That's the hope.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fast forward a little bit here. When the 7 days of Passover are over, Mama sends me to the bakery to buy bread. During Passover, we eat no bread. I cannot wait to taste bread again, and I hurry into town to buy it. On my way out of the bakery, with my fresh loaves tucked under my arm, I hear the town crier beating his drum. I join the other people and gather around him to listen to the news. He tells everyone that all Jews are being shipped out by train. They need to pack a bag of belongings and go to the school within 48 hours. I rush home to tell Mama, but she has already heard the news. I'm relieved Tata and Fischl are home and not at work camp, so we can all be together. Mama and Tata also know we need to bring valuables to the school for registration and safekeeping. Tata decides not to follow this rule and wants to hide our valuable jewelry instead. So he actually takes some of the jewelry and hides it.
Puts it in a little shoe polish box.
And then puts it up above a beam.
Between the ceiling and the wall, and the corner, the wall.
And your sisters didn't even want to know where it was going to be. You're the only one that was brave enough to say, okay, Dad, tell me.
My father said, come with me, I want to show it to you. So when you come back after the war, you'll know where it is. So my two sisters, my Helen and Judy, they said they don't want any part of it. So I told my father, I'll go with you. So we went to one of the rooms in the house, took a ladder, and my father opened a little area between the ceiling and the wall in the corner, and we put it wasn't much jewelry because we didn't have much jewelry in those days. My father had a wedding band and his pocket watch. By the way, this is a chain from my father's pocket watch. I wear that every day.
So that's the chain he put into that box.
This is one of the chains. And my mother, all she had was a pair of earrings, a necklace, and a wedding band, or maybe a little something else. So a little shoe polish box was plenty big for that. So we hid it, and we covered it with dirt so nobody should notice it. So, and after we came back after the war, I knew exactly where it was, and so we divided the jewelry between the three of us.
So now the day comes. When the next day arrives, Mama instructs us to wear 3 layers of our best clothes because we don't know where we are going or how long we will be gone. No one knows when we will be able to do laundry. I choose my warmest clothes and Mama packs our down quilts in case it gets cold. We each pack a burlap bag with our belongings. I'm excited to travel on a train for the first time, as I have never gone beyond the neighboring towns on either side of my village. When the time comes to leave, we are all packed and ready. It's April 1944, and Hayusara, who is now 21, and Yutki, who is 19, help Mama and Aunt Lee with the younger kids. Fischl is 16, and I am 14 years old. Peichu is 13. Blimchu is 10. Faye is 8.
Excuse me.
Meyerbear is 6 years old. Tata and Mama lead our whole family toward the school, with each of the older kids carrying a burlap bag of belongings. There are a lot of people at the school when we arrive, and all of them are Jewish. This train station is the biggest building I've ever been in. I hear some of the adults talking about how the station transports shipments of bricks all over Europe from the brick factory here. Mama points out that Jews from all the neighboring villages are here in Ungvar with us. We remain in the train station for 3 or 4 weeks under the watchful eyes of Hungarian soldiers with guard dogs. We sleep in tents at night. The soldiers remind us regularly that Jews are not to try and run away or they will be shot. Our parents continue to reassure us that we should not worry, as God will protect us. And then the story here is the story that I read in the opening of you actually getting on the train. You're packed in there. You're traveling for days. And finally, when you arrive, the door is unlocked and a man in a blue and white uniform climbs into our cattle car and tells us we're in Auschwitz, Poland. He begins telling people what to do next and helping them move their belongings. He asks me how old I am. And I tell him I'm 14 years old. He murmurs, "Tell them you're 18. Yutki is holding my little brother, Meyerbear. The man asks her if this is her child. "No, he is my brother," she replies. He tells her that young children must stay with their mothers. He gives information to many people as we climb down off the cattle car. Once on the ground, all luggage and possessions are tossed into a big pile. We are put in rows of 5 people and directed to walk on for about 5 minutes. There is no talking aloud, and everyone is confused because we don't know what's coming next. When we arrive in front of 3 German SS officers in uniform, they begin to separate us into groups. One of them asks me how old I am, and I follow the advice of the man on the train. I tell the soldier that I am 18 years old. Hayasura responds, "No, she isn't. She's 14. "No, I'm 18, I insist. The officers wave my sisters and me to the left. Tata and Fischl are directed to the line in the right, while Mama, Aunt Lee, and my 3 little sisters and baby brother go forward, joining another line of people. I don't know why they are separating us, but Yuki keeps telling me to be quiet and not ask questions. Just do what they say, she insists. The guards quickly move everyone along, so there is no time to talk to Mama or Tata. I try to keep my eyes on them as their lines move off in different directions, but I quickly lose sight of them. I wonder how long it will be until I see them again. Maybe they separate men from women here, but that doesn't explain why Mama, Aunt Lee, and the little kids went in another line. So many things are happening that don't make sense to me. My thoughts get interrupted when the soldiers yell at us to keep moving. Yutki, Hayasara, and I follow our line into a big bathroom marked Lager Camp C. Maybe here we will wash up after being stuck in the cattle car for days. Instead, we are ordered to take off all our clothes and toss them in a pile. I slowly remove the 3 dresses that Mama had me wear. I pause when I have stripped down to my underwear and look at the many women around me. Everyone is undressing. I have never been naked in front of strangers before, and I am feeling confused and humiliated. This is so wrong, but no one is saying anything. When Hayusura and Yutki start removing their undergarments like the other women, I slowly do too. I am shivering and feel scared. The soldiers take photographs of us, humiliating us further. I think this must be hell because I have never experienced anything worse. I am appalled to realize that the next step is to have every hair shaved off our bodies. I cannot understand why they need to take hair off my head, arms, legs, and even my most private places. I can see other Jewish women don't understand what is going on either and look ashamed. The faces of all the women shaving us are like stone, showing no emotion at all. I feel so exposed with no clothes and now no hair to cover me. I reach up to touch my hairless head and am shocked to feel my nubby and bruised scalp from the rough handling of the emotionless women with the razor.